Hello, my Mercurial mercenaries. Been watching a lot of King Gizzard, and I thought we could just do something different. Not long ago, I did a Beatles top 20. And a few of you said, look, Mercurial number 6, we're fed up of your long videos. Why are you doing a top 20 when you could have just done a top 10? And I then said, well, really, I could have just done a top 1. Because isn't that all anyone's really interested in? Anyway, another one of my favourite bands of all time. A band that I think, I wasn't really around them, but in their early days were written off as American Rolling Stones wannabes. But went on to become, in my opinion, one of the most raw, lively, dangerous rock bands of all time, AEROSMITH. So this is, with no research, off the top of my head, although I did no research and it is off the top of my head, believe me, I did spend a fair while organising this top 10 list. Things have jumped around in this list. Even the number 1 spot up until a few minutes ago. So here we go, my mercenaries. This is the AEROSMITH Mercurial top 10. Let's try and get this video done with a modicum of timeliness. And I appreciate there's a few people on this channel who are watching me for the likes of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Tim Impala, MGMT, Unknown Mortal Orchestra, Baby Metal, Bandmade, and you might not really know AEROSMITH. When you think of AEROSMITH, you might think of AEROSMITH as the band that Steven Tyler sings in. And I suppose, whereas Steven Tyler, to me, is certainly one of the greatest, it goes without saying for me, one of the greatest rock singers of all time, one of the greatest singers of all time. To a whole generation now, he's probably more of a celebrity, presenting, being a judge on, I think he's on like American Idol or something like that. And, but just bear in mind, that once upon a time, especially in the 70s, AEROSMITH were a pretty dangerous band. And especially the lead singer and the guitar player. Steven Tyler, the singer, and Joe Perry, the guitar player. Known as the Toxic Twins. We're talking, you know, alcohol, drugs, sex. And they're a band that kind of went off the rails and then found themselves in the same way as another top 10 we'll probably do one day, which is Alice Cooper. So all I'm trying to say here is that, yes, you're going to say, well, why is Mercurial number 6 talking about AEROSMITH? I'm talking about AEROSMITH because they are, to me, indisputably, a fantastic band and one of the greatest rock bands of all time. And just remember, there was a time when AEROSMITH were the band that Guns N' Roses wanted to be. So, also, if you don't really care much for this sort of thing, I have 2 things to say to you. Well, one thing to say to you involving 2 things. All you really need to do here is get hold of this album, AEROSMITH's Greatest Hits, and their album Pump. Just those 2 albums, this and Pump. Listen to those. You don't need to listen to this top 10. Right. Let's move on. Other people would have finished their top 10 by now. I haven't even finished the bloody intro. So, you're asking me, Mercurial number 6. What is at number 10 in your chart of the greatest AEROSMITH songs of all time? Well, let me tell you. At number 10 is Janie's Got a Gun. Now, where do I start? With a band like AEROSMITH. They've got a load of albums, a load of classic songs. It gets to the point where you're just swapping songs around willy-nilly. If you have to pin a top 10 here, I had to go Janie's Got a Gun. It's off the Pump album. For me, it's... This will probably surprise any of you AEROSMITH fans out there, but Pump is my favourite AEROSMITH album. I think it's the best AEROSMITH album. It's a very late 80s album. AEROSMITH did a lot of drugs in the 70s, got very famous, came off the rails, and then went off the scene for a long time, came back with Permanent Vacation in the 80s, and followed Permanent Vacation up with Pump. Permanent Vacation was a pretty great record, all things being said, but it didn't really have a lot of the sort of songs that Aerosmith could play live on it. And you'll probably find that Permanent Vacation won't feature heavily in this chart. Now, I've told you that Pump is my favourite Aerosmith album, so it won't surprise you to find that the first song in here at number 10 is Janie's Got a Gun. Janie's Got a Gun it's a bit of a departure for Aerosmith, and if you're an Aerosmith fan, you'll know what I mean. It is a great song. It wasn't going to be in this chart for a long time, but then it just got to the point where I thought, well, it has to be here. How can I not have Janie's Got a Gun? It's Steven Tyler playing his Korg M1. It's a keyboardy, atmospheric song of its time with great big snare drum sounds. It's got some subject matter. It's about a girl who's being abused by her father, who I think wants to kill him or ends up killing him. That's like giving the song away there. And I just think it has a place in the chart. And if this chart was going to be something that you would put these songs into a playlist and put your trust in me and your faith in me and say, Mercurial number 6, I'm going to listen to these 10 songs by Aerosmith to see whether you can convert me to their cause. You need to listen to Janie's Got a Gun. Next. What did I put next? Last Child. Now, this song late in the day replaced something else. I had to put it in there. This is off, it's all off the top of my head. This is off Rocks, like a mid-70s album. This was Aerosmith really at their peak. Now, I think Pump is their best album, which is like late 80s, 90s sort of thing. But I suppose if you had to pick an album that captures Aerosmith at their prime, not necessarily my favourite songs, but at their prime, it would be Rocks, mid-70s. And Last Child is a track off that album. It's really, really funky. It's completely different to Janie's Got a Gun. If you listen to Janie's Got a Gun, then this song, you'll be like, what the hell? But what you'll find, if you're not a fan already, if you listen to this song, is that Steven Tyler can do vocal gymnastics like no other. And he is absolutely fantastic. And if you only know him as a judge on a TV talent show, then holy hell. I mean, he hasn't done himself any favours there. But like I say, to me, one of the greatest, and there is an argument to say he is the greatest rock singer of all time. Let's not have that argument here, but he's up there. Showmanship as well. He's a hell of a character. And Last Child, especially the way it ends. I'm the last child. Can't reach the note. I'm the last child. I'm just a punk in the street. I'm the last child. I'm just a punk in the street. Haven't got a clue what he's saying in this song. Not an idea. Lips, Mick Jagger lips. Sweet home. There is a bit in the song where he goes, home, sweet home. He's saying home, sweet home. I can hear that bit. I'm not a complete idiot, but this is funk dripping funk. If you want to listen to funk dripping, let's move on. Number 8 is... It's Sweet Emotion. Now, this is the one song that I've struggled with in this chart. It definitely wasn't going to be in the chart because it's not an Aerosmith song that I really choose to listen to. But some songs, and I did it with the Beatles as well when I put Helter Skelter in. If some songs by some bands, there is a song you have to put in. I can't leave out Sweet Emotion. Sweet Emotion. And there's a line in this song, and I put it on. And then when he sung the something along the lines of, my get up and go, just got up and went. And when he said that, I thought, I've got to have just a line like that. A syncopated line, like get up and go, just got up and went. Yeah, it's clever. This is a song driven by an iconic bass line. Tom Hamilton, fantastic bass player. And really, when when I was in my youth and I was sort of putting together dream lineups of bands, and I always think, you know, if I had to have any drummer, I'd have John Bonham. Any bass player, John Paul Jones. And it got to the point where I was basically naming Led Zeppelin. But I think this is one of those bands as well. If you could have any bass player, you'd probably want to have someone like Tom Hamilton. Any guitar player, Joe Perry, Brad Whitford. Any singer, you're going to like to have Steven Tyler. A drummer, listen to Joey Kramer's grooves. This is just a fantastic band. And when you want to hear the rhythm section, listen to Sweet Emotion. Number 7. Now, Kings and Queens. Now, we're going into the period of the late 70s where, after Rocks, things started to fall apart a bit from Aerosmith, and it was mainly due to drugs. I think, especially back then, rock stars felt that they weren't a rock star unless they did do drugs. And there is an argument to say that drugs did improve a lot of my favourite songs. I don't know. Would the Doors or Aerosmith or the Stones or whatever, would they have sounded as good without drugs? Alice Cooper? We'll never know. We'll never know is the answer. But certainly with a band like Aerosmith, what happened was they went off the rails. They made albums like Rockin' a Hard Place, Night in the Ruts, which destroyed them. And we'll see later on whether a song like Lightning Strikes from Rockin' a Hard Place will make this chart. Let's just say that I toyed with that song big time. But a song like Kings and Queens, I think, no, there's no research here. It was kind of mid to late 70s. I think it was on the album Draw the Line, but it's certainly on the Greatest Hits album. This song is so good, I could have put it at number 1. It is absolutely fantastic. This was from a time when Steven Tyler and Joe Perry were totally off their heads. Gone. Just gone. And I think this song was left to the rest of the band to sort out. And for that reason, this era is kind of written off, especially after this, just after this. Like I said, with Rockin' a Hard Place and Night in the Ruts. It got to the point where even Joe Perry left, the lead guitarist left, was replaced by people like Jimmy Crespo. But here you have the rest of the band pulling together for a song that probably shouldn't be in anyone's top 10, because the way I've described it, how good can it be? Listen to Kings and Queens. Holy shit. This is a song. I would like to have song. If I could, I'd have song written across here. Now, I'd paint it in white paint. I could do it. Just paint song on my jumper now in white paint. Because that's what Kings and Queens is, all right? Next. Okay, right. So if you don't really know Aerosmith, and I told you had to name an Aerosmith song, you would probably... There's actually one more song that you might name, thinking about it now. But let's not worry about that one. I think you're going to name Walk This Way. Now, the version most people know is perhaps the Run DMC one from the probably late 80s, wasn't it? Mid 80s. This is the sort of song that when you're trying to be clever and putting a chart together of Aerosmith songs, you're gonna feel like you need to leave Walk This Way out to prove some kind of point. Unfortunately, you can't leave it out. It has one of the most iconic guitar riffs ever. The way it comes in with the drum beat. And it's on the hi-hat. Haven't got a clue what Steven Tyler's talking about in the song. Teach and a fussy and a socks and a fussy and a skirt and a win and a knee. There was a three young ladies in the school gym and like I noticed they were looking at me. I was a high schooler who never made it with a lady. I've done some in the bills. My next door neighbor, I was doing the favorite kiss. So like, damn, how can you not put this in the chart? You can't not put in Walk This Way. Apparently, it was written after one of my favourite scenes from Young Frankenstein, but that's for another time, my mercenaries. Now, I also do like the Run DMC version, because that was one of the first kind of crossovers. And then in the 90s, we got to all that kind of Ice-T, body count type of stuff. So it was pivotal. And this and what was the Anthrax one? And I got a time ticking in my head. I'm got a time ticking in my head, ticking in my head. Wow, ticking in my head, ticking in my head, ticking, yeah, just fried chicken. The version, if you're going to listen to something like the version of Aerosmith's greatest hits, it's very much of its time. Walk this way, 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 walk this way. Whereas live, and on the Run DMC version, I think it got more to Steven Tyler really knowing where the song should go, and then the chorus becomes more of a walk this way, talk this way, walk this way, talk this way, just give me some ass, or whatever he says. But the original version's very walk this way, and if you've never heard the original version, it'll probably be a surprise to you how 70s it is. Walk This Way had to be there, couldn't leave it out. Some people might put it at number 1. Number five. This is a song off Pump. Now, there were many songs I could have put in this list from Pump, because Pump is a fantastic album. I originally had Young Lust on here, but I ended up with Fine, because this is just a real dirty, groovy song. And there's a moment on the making of Pump. There's a great VHS video about the making of this album, Pump, where Steven Tyler says to camera something like, you know, all the other bands are out there talking about girls and sex or whatever, but we're talking about f***ing. We've made an album about f***ing. And this song, Fine. You go, oh yeah, fine. No, f***ed up, insecure, neurotic, emotional. This song is just a groovy, dirty bastard of a song. And I love it. I love it. Number 4. Dream On. This is a song off the first Aerosmith album, back when they were being labelled as Rolling Stones wannabes. Mainly, I think, really, because Steven Tyler looks a little bit like Mick Jagger. You know, lips department and that. This song is a song, I think that Steven Tyler worked on this song a bit like Axl Rose worked on November Rain, a little bit. This song is iconic. It is fantastic. If you only listen to one Aerosmith song and you listen to this one, you would understand why Aerosmith are held in such high regard. Dream On is just beautiful. And Tyler's vocals at the end with it, dream on, dream on. He was much higher than that. If I could pitch shift that up. Fantastic. The voice as an instrument. I mean, argue with me down below if you want, but seriously, Steven Tyler, if you listen to this top 10, just put it in a playlist and listen to it. This is voice as an instrument. Dream On. It's quite sad. The lyrics, I don't know, you know, everyone takes what they want from the lyrics to songs. Even my own songs, I change from day to day what I think they're about. This song just sounds sad to me. Next. What could be at number 3? We're getting into the time now where I was swapping songs around big time, and especially when we went to the top 2. Anyway, song number 3. Oh, this is going to be a surprise to some of you Aerosmith fans out there. This is the only entry on the chart from Aerosmith's sort of comeback album. They did do Done with Mirrors in the mid-80s, but Permanent Vacation on the Geffen record label. This is their comeback album. And this is, up till this point, as far as I know, like no research, the songs were written by Aerosmith. They were, just like you had Jagger and Richards, Lennon, McCartney, whatever, you had Perry and Tyler. For Permanent Vacation, a guy called Desmond Child was brought in. Now, he's probably not held in, I don't know if he's held in high regard or not. I don't know a lot about Desmond Child. I only know how he relates to me and my life. But he certainly had an influence on albums like Trash by Alice Cooper, which I also hold in such high regard. I think he sort of, don't quote me on this, but he created songs like Living on a Prayer for Bon Jovi. And when it came to Aerosmith, he had a hand in songs, I think, like Angel. Now, I don't ever remember hearing Aerosmith play Angel live. I don't think the band themselves hold it in particularly high regard. And I'm not sure why. I did listen to a version of it the other day. It was on an album I haven't seen before by Aerosmith, like a live album with a bloke on the cover holding a petrol pump nozzle thing, cartoon cover. Can't remember what it was called now. And they played it so slowly that I didn't actually like it. So here I am trying to justify Angel as number 3, the third greatest Aerosmith song of all time. How can I do it? It just is. It is. It's godlike. Yes, it's one of the first Aerosmith songs I heard. So it has nostalgia and personal. I think you're going to find this. You're going to find older people who kind of grew up with Aerosmith in the 70s probably wouldn't rate the Permanent Vacation Pump era. And they probably would not hold this song in particular high value. But Angel's just such a pretty song. You're my angel, come and save me tonight. You're my angel, come and make it alright. Come and save me tonight. The guitar solo is beautiful. Tyler's singing is beautiful. The strings in the background are beautiful. The big Phil Collins, Peter Gabriel gated snare drum, perhaps not. But overall, it's one of those things. If you could only listen to one Aerosmith song, listen to Angel. Oh, it's such a beautiful song. Come and save me tonight. Come and save me tonight. What's at number 2? Let me just tell you this. I swapped the top 2 positions in this chart just before I pressed record a minute ago. 20 minutes ago. This was supposed to be shorter than 7 minutes. I'm sorry I keep letting you guys down, Evil White Clown Punk. I've been working on this chart for a week. And up until 20 minutes ago, this song was at number 1. This song, Back in the Saddle, is so good that not only would I eat it, but I would force a whole flock of sheep to eat it. Back in the Saddle. This is the opening track from, like I say, probably Aerosmith's greatest album. They've got a few great albums, but rocks. This is Back in the Saddle. It's no research here, just the way it opens. Dun, 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 the drums. Dun, 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 and then da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. It's ominous. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. I'm back in the saddle doesn't sound like like Beaker out of the Muppets when he sings it. I'm back in the saddle again. Charlie Jack I've got a clue what he sings about. I think the way I take it, it's another song about getting back in the saddle. I'm back in the saddle again. Fantastic song. I think Joe Perry, don't quote me on this because I might be getting confused with Keith Richards in Sympathy for the Devil. I think Joe Perry plays a 6-string bass. You know, the Fender 6. You know, the small scale thing. It's just so fantastic. And again, it's an example of Steven Tyler, voice as instrument. Now, you might have noticed here, we've only got one song to go, all right? And there's a whole era of Aerosmith where they released Get a Grip, and you had that kind of trio of songs with the videos that just took over the world on MTV. There was I was crying when I met you, now I'm trying to forget you. And there was crazy, crazy, crazy for you, baby, with Liv Tyler and Alicia Silverstone. Holy hell. Those videos got me through some lonely nights, my mercenaries. There was a song called Amazing. Basically, Aerosmith for a while became like an interchangeable ballad band. There's the obvious big song. Maybe it's at number 1. I don't want to close my eyes, I don't want to fall asleep, 'cause I miss you, baby, and I don't want to miss a thing, even when I dream of you. The biggest dream will never do, 'cause I miss you, baby, and I don't want to miss a thing. That was quite a big song. I think people have probably heard of that one. It's like a karaoke type song that people probably sing. There's a whole kind of era of Aerosmith where they were quite famous. And none of those songs are in this chart. None of those songs are in this chart. I didn't even consider them because they're not good enough. But I don't want you to think that I'm completely writing them off. There was something really sweet about those like crying, crazy, amazing videos from the mid-90s, early 90s, mid-90s. They were sexy videos. They were good songs. They were memorable songs. I can remember the choruses now about having to listen to them. You had songs like Living on the Edge, just massive. I think it's a bit like Alice Cooper. He did Trash, made his comeback with Poison, and then the album after that, he felt like he had to top it with Hey Stupid. So I think Get a Grip is probably Aerosmith's Hey Stupid. And if you're an Alice Cooper fan and an Aerosmith fan, you might know what I mean. So what song can be at number 1? The best Aerosmith song. If you think about what song I've left out, it's pretty obvious. Second Floor, Hardware, Children's Wear, Ladies Lingerie. Oh, good morning, Mr. Tyler. Going down? Yeah! I've got a clue what he's saying. Working for the company. Say can't see you later. I kind of hope it gets stuck. The body gets out alive. I'll show you the facts in the mailroom, honey, and have you home by 5. Jackie's in the elevator, lingerie, second floor. I said, can I see you later? And love you just a little more. Love in an elevator. I love. It's got a riff like manna from heaven. It's got lyrics that are sexy and funny. It's got guitar solos that are out of this world. It just is, for me, the perfect sort of 80s, 90s hard rock, soft metal song. It's Love in an Elevator by AEROSMITH. What more do you need to say? It's Love in an Elevator by AEROSMITH. It's the best song by AEROSMITH. Go and listen to these 10 songs by AEROSMITH and just try telling me in my comments section that AEROSMITH are not worthy of a top 10 list by the Mercurial number 6. AEROSMITH are one of the greatest bands of all time, and Love in an Elevator. Just glancing down, making sure I've spelt it right. We don't call them elevators here. Love in a lift. A love in a lift. Get your ukulele out. Ding 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 ding. I had my love in a lift. Ding 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 ding. And I'm cleaning windows in my lift. Ding 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 ding. Love in a lift. 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 Wouldn't work. Ow! Thank you. That was AEROSMITH Mercurial top 10. Mercurial AEROSMITH top 10. Let me know if you want any more top 10s. Or whether you just want me to piss off and die. What the hell? Just let me know down below. If you like it, do that. If you don't like it, do that. And if you want to subscribe, then subscribe. Whatever. I don't care. Right. Thank you. Go and listen to those 10 songs. Go and listen to that. Maybe I'll do a Discover on this now. Maybe I will. I'll just put this on. Listen to it. Thank you, my mercenaries. Thank you. I really, truly appreciate every view I get, honestly. Thank you. Over. And...